Last video I started to talk about double bind. Double bind is a method that the covert dark tetrad uses as double bind basically means they offer two bad deals to their victim. You can choose. And by experience you learn that if I do X, I'm damned by the abuser, and if I don't do X, I'm still damned. So they give you two bad options. Both of them are equally as bad. Sometimes some of them are slightly worse. The other side of this coin is that just like they give you, the victim, two bad options, they give themselves two good options. They come winner either way. You come loser either way. So what was the name I gave you for that? They come winner either way. In Arabic it's called Ihdal Hisnayain, meaning either of the two goods. Like a terrorist. If the terrorist wins and can kill the victims, he feels a winner. If he fails, he becomes a martyr. If he fails, he at least earns victimhood or martyrdom. So either way, he feels like a winner. Or Vladimir Putin, or any dictator. If the dictator wins, he goes to the countrymen and say, I got you some glory and some victory. If he fails, he goes to his fellow countrymen and say, didn't I tell you that we are against dark forces way stronger than us? Didn't I tell you should forget about all your demands and just give me all your powers and wealth, and the whole nation has to be in my service, so I stand up to these dark forces? So either way they win. That's I haven't seen anybody talk about this, how they come winner either way. I feel like there should be a name like double bind win as opposed to double bind lose for the victim. So one of the ways that first of all, I will dedicate separate videos to this issue of how psychologists get it so wrong. Because you may get this idea that, oh well, so you're telling us how important it is to understand that politics is personal, which means we should study the personalities of these dictators, which means, oh, we should go and hire experts from psychology. No, that's the last thing you want to do. The whole field of psychology has got it wrong. Please don't do that. Please don't rely on the psychologists to tell you about the covert narcissist. They got it so wrong. Even the name is wrong. Covert narcissist is a terrible name. I'll explain that later. But for now, I just say this. Borderline personality disorder is the same as covert narcissism. Overt narcissism is totally different from these two. The covert narcissist is that's not, I don't want to talk about that. So borderline, and therefore the covert, has three stages. Idealization, in which they idealize their victim. They idealize their husband or the child or Ukraine, and they say how much we care about you, how much we love you. Then starts the devaluation. At this point they start to say, well, you have qualities that I kind of don't like. So they start to devalue you, like you are too friendly with those Western European countries. Well, you know I love you as my child. If only you cut your ties with the Western Europe, I would be the best mother for you. Or my wife kept telling my child, if only you stop loving dad, I'll do this and this and this for you. Do you want to be with dad and only get 3 gifts per Christmas, or do you want to be with mommy and get 15? And why do you force the child to choose between the father or mother? Of course, this is not the story that they tell to the court or to the outsider, but to the poor child. And the more the mother does this, of course, the more repels the child, because at some point my child used this verb that I had never seen or heard in English. She said, Dad, mom is trying to buy me out. And I was like, what do you mean? Where did you learn this, buy out? What do you mean by that? She said, she's trying, and she didn't know the word bribe. She expressed to me what bribe is, and she feels like mother does it, and that's what they do. So after idealization, you have devaluation. Ultimately, there comes a point that they realize that, so most likely the victim has given up so much to appease the abuser. At some point you realize that you have no more to give up. You have emptied yourself out of whatever good quality you had, hoping to appease and make quiet your abuser, and the abuser is still mad at you. So once you have nothing more to lose, either that, or you wisen up and you stand up to the abuser and you tell them that I feel like I figured you out. I feel like, oh my God, this is the game that you've been doing. I'm not going to let you continue it. So it can be either of the two. You might have not still wisen up. You might have still not figured it out. It's just that I don't have anything else to give to you. Let me see. That was the case with me. I was trying to give more and more, and at some point my wife said, no, you give it. I've given all those concessions have already been made. What else do you have? Do you have mansion or Cadillac? She was very interested in these two. Show me a mansion and Cadillac and I stay, otherwise sorry. And so it could be, again, either of the two. Either you have nothing more to offer because you have already given up everything, or you wisen up. The case of my child, the case of Ukraine. And in any way, that's when the third stage comes, the discard, total discard, the whole attack. Now, one of the ways that helps the covert dark tetrad to succeed in their strategy is the method called projection. Projection works especially real nice at first. Projection means they project their own issues, their own darkness on you. They blame you, the victim, for the problem, for the dark intention they have. For example, Russia tells Ukraine, you are doing genocide to your own citizens. Oh my God. Who? Me? The total number of people died by Ukrainian army in the eastern provinces were like 15 in a year or so. You, okay, if you accuse me, that means you are thinking of doing genocide. It's you that does it. Or usually people who always accuse their partner of cheating are the ones who are in fact are the cheaters. Or what else? I'm sure all of you have seen this in life. All of you have some idea of what projection is. Or my wife constantly called me a thief, a charlatan, a this or that. And then I was like, oh, come on. If anybody has taken things from the other, it's you. Remember the things you took? So the thing is, at first, you're not wise enough. At first, this strategy works real nice against the victim because the victim starts to believe, maybe she's right. Maybe she's right. She must know me better than myself. If she says I'm a bad person, well, maybe she's right. So you start to believe. That's how they flip the reality. I'm sure even to this point, there are stupid people who believe that, oh, well, Ukraine should have done more to make sure Russia doesn't attack. We all know this kind of losers who always blame the victim for the act of aggression of an abuser. These are the people that I can't stand them. These are the cowards. You know, if I see somebody beat somebody, let's say a grown-up is beating a child, if I'm a brave person, I go save the child. If I'm a coward, but I still want to take the high ground, I say, I'm wondering what the child has done to deserve to be beaten. Come on, just shut up and go away instead of blaming the victim. And people like Henry Kissinger, we made the Russia attack, or at some point President Macron of France even was like this. We must make sure Russia has dignity, a way to win. Oh, come on, you don't know the covert narcissist? You still think you're against a rational person in pursuit of happiness for its nation? So this is why I say the dumb, which I explained in last videos, plays a part as an enabler who enables the abuser to use these tactics and strategies like projection really successfully. Thankfully, more and more people are not believing the Putin's version of the reality, the flipped version of reality, that Ukraine is the one who is doing genocide. Ukraine is the one who is doing thinking about using chemical weapons, or Ukraine is the one killing civilians. And again, the extent of using of these tactics all depends on many factors, like how quickly a narcissist runs out of narcissistic supply, which is the feel-good elements that they need to survive. They need a shot of that, like an addict addicted to drugs. They need this feel good because of their emptiness. The idealization stage is exactly because they want to fill up that emptiness that they feel, because they're empty of emotions, empathy, love. All those qualities are foreign to them. They see someone else who has these qualities, a very positive, energetic person. They try to marry them, hoping that their fullness fills up their vacuum, their emptiness. After a while, they realize that it's not going to happen. I'm still that empty soul that I was, and that guy is still as full as he was. So I have two options. Well, either keep trying, which sometimes they do, or else I start to blame him. And my ex was like this: you are so happy because you're irresponsible. You are, yeah, if I was irresponsible or a bad person like you, I would be happy too. Or so to them, things are even worse than zero-sum game. They see you have good time with the child, so they don't just think that you robbed them, because zero-sum game would be this, and I'm arguing it's worse than zero-sum game. A normal person see you're happy, a normal mother see the father is happy with the child, she is happy, hey, good thing, I have a happy family. A zero-sum game sick mother see a father happy with the child, she would think, you have robbed me of happiness. This happiness that you are enjoying is what you have robbed of me, which was the case with our marriage too. Or Russia thinks Ukraine is having fun with the Western Europe. You have robbed me out of what the love that I deserve to receive, the influence I deserve to have in Ukraine. You must have robbed me because that's why you're so happy. You have prosperity. They are happiness intolerance. What's the level worse than this? The level worse is they see you have happiness and they think you are intentionally doing this just to make them look bad. It's even more unforgivable than if they just imagine that you are just happy because you're careless and insensitive. No, they think you're intentionally trying to rub it to their face that look at me, how much fun I have with the child. These are things that took me years to understand, because I could just see my wife is disgusted. We go to the nicest, beachfront in Florida, and she hears the child laughing out loud, and instead of joining and being happy, she goes as far as away and to the other corner of the swimming pool or the ocean, and then she feels sad and disgusted, and I'm like, come over here, mom, and child says, come, mom, here, let's play together, and mom is disgusted, doesn't come. And then later on we hear the child was saying, mom said the entire Florida trip was a fight, and I was like, we had no fight. Child said, I know, we had no fight. I don't know what mom's referring to. And then years later I realized maybe the fight was in her mind, that jealousy, that feeling of, and then she gave me clues that I realized she really thinks if you're happy, you rub it on her. Remember stealing the spotlight? You're stealing the spotlight at me. You're trying to show off how happy you can be. You're trying to show me that you can be relaxed and I can't. How do I know this is how he thinks? Because of what she projects at me. One of the tricks to know what the covert thinks is to look at the accusations they gave at you, the blames they assigned to you. She was telling me, you cannot see me happy. You're jealous of seeing me happy with little things. And I was like, me? I'm the person who can easily be happy with anything. I see a bush of raspberry, that makes me happy for a whole day. To love and cherish that. I'm a lover of, I can cherish anything in love. I was so positive. Of course, not anymore. I still have some of those qualities left in me, but not as much as I used to be. So that told me, so when she accuses me of I'm jealous of seeing her happy with little things, she's expressing her own problem. So the double bind, the projection, a projection which is accusing and blaming what you have in mind to the other, to the victim. The worse than zero-sum game, which I don't even have a good name for it. They just feel threatened all the time. That's one of the sources of their unhappiness. They feel always in competition. It's either there can be only one winner, either it has to be me or you. So I'm sorry, I have to ruin. She told me that in 2010. Oh my God. She told me, I have to ruin you. There's no way. She kept saying it in 2011 and 12, but except that this time she had a professorship job, and she told me, I'm sorry. Are you sure? Can you get away from me? Because if you stay with me, if you try to stay and help me, I have to ruin you for the sake of promoting my own career. And I was like, come on, you can't be serious. This gotta be a joke. How can you ruin a loving person, a loving husband, a person who wants everything for his family? And then she said, no, okay. And sometimes she got a remorse, and she said, well, this is gotta be the sacrifice you make. You let me ruin and smear you to the public so I can buy myself some victimhood. And I thought she was joking. I thought she can't be serious. And then she said, well, that's the smallest sacrifice. There is no harm to you. Don't worry about it. I just say these things so they understand why I have terrible rating in my work, or terrible this or that. I mean, you still refuse to believe. This is where I started to justify that she's just tired, she's just this, she's just that. The other element of why it is impossible to have peace with a covert narcissist, to those of you who like President Macron, who push for Ukraine, go ahead and try to get a peace agreement with Russia. No, it's impossible. Because as I explained in the previous video, the covert narcissist is not looking for a win. They don't care. Sometimes they love losing even more than winning. Their goal is destruction. Burning, destruction, drama, tragedies. That's what they want. My ex explicitly said that to me. She said, when I told her, this path that you're going, we both lose. This is lose-lose. She said, I know, and I love it. I love to burn money, the future of our family, to burn you. And I was like, you gotta be kidding me. You can't be serious. And again, I thought she's joking, but then she did it. When they do it over and over, at some point, it takes too long for you to understand that whatever they say, it's not a joke. So the first early sign is look at what they project on you. Do not underestimate that when you're dealing with Putin or my ex or people who have this dark tetrad, because that's the early sign of what they're about to do to you. Second, never think that they're joking when they say something. Third, there is no way you can come to peace with them. And you may say, well, you're not leaving us much option. That's the sad truth. There are things to do. All right, I'm running out, so I learned that when my videos go over 19 minutes, it's going to be cut off. So I'm going to stop it right here. Thank you for watching.